They charge for it. No.
Mhm. Really, she was on the bed.
It's Friday. Evening, Miss G.
Good evening. Hi, everyone. My name is Georgette Truan, or Miss G, or whatever you want to call it. Here
It's
with
true.
Darren. Huh?
You right? I said it's true. That's your name. Yeah,
That is my name. Um,
it's Miss G.
I work for the law office of Attorney Vincent Davis, and I have Mr. Darren Quay from Maine. Hi, Darren.
Hello, Miss G. I do not work for the law offices of Vincent Davis. I'm just a big fan of him and co-host with you guys.
I
Just for the
understand.
record. All right, good. we don't we don't want anybody thinking. We don't want anybody thinking differently and going to court saying, "I heard that fat guy on the Davis show say this."
You're not fat, Darren. You're
You're
not
right.
fat at
It's just big boned.
No, you're not even fat. Actually, you look better now than skinny.
Yes. Well, I mean, I'm up against a brick wall here.
No,
So,
you look good. You look good.
well, thank you. Thank you very
You will.
much. Let's.
So, well, I learned. Well, no, I didn't
Did you
learn. I
know?
knew all along about Monterey Park Courthouse in
Yep.
Los Angeles County, especially Department 407. They're very corrupt in that courthouse. They literally favor, like I said to you guys before, they literally favor the abusers. I'm telling you guys right now, you need to lawyer up because that courthouse is like a circus in there. And mothers are losing their rights every single day.
Do you
And
know?
it's not funny. It's not funny at all. And please don't judge moms that lose their rights or their dad or dads that lose their rights. Please, I'm begging you. Um, they're losing rights for no reason at all.
One of our good listeners and our good viewers lost today. They lost their TPR, and this girl did nothing but be a great mom. And the father of the child, imagine this affair with the caseworker. Um,
Mm-hmm.
she was TPR today, and God, whatever. We talked about it earlier. I'm in the trenches, and she's an awesome woman, like 100% pure mom. Like maybe some life happened to her, but nothing worthy of getting her kid taken. Like but this guy
Mm-hmm.
that she literally was almost killed at one point in time by the father, and yet she lost her rights, and the father can still visit with the baby. It's crazy, absolutely crazy.
And the father was the father is the father of the abuser.
Of course, yeah, he almost killed her at one point in time.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
So this is exactly what happens in that courthouse. They favor the abusers and they literally trash the moms.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's it.
Another true story. There's an attorney that used to work for that courthouse, and I had the opportunity to speak with her. Mr. Davis know who she is. I know who she is, and she said that the head attorney from that courthouse um, told her that she has the most liked clients, like they liked her,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a problem with that. And she said, then that means I'm doing my job. He said, no, you're not doing your job. Because her job was, as he told her, is to get convince them to admit that they're guilty.
Mm-hmm.
That's their job.
Yep.
So I'm begging you guys, understand this. I know that you heard it before. You get more with honey than vinegar. I get that. I'm not saying kiss their ass. I'm saying let your words be few. Let it be yes or no. Answers.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Yes or no.
Right.
Do not talk about your past. Meaning, if you were 16 years old and you tried marijuana, I'm giving you an example. Do not say, I did marijuana when I was 16. If you had theft when you were 15 or 14 or 13, you stole, I don't know, I don't know what kids do, but steal something. And, you know,
Whatever crime you committed, shut your mouth about it is probably what she's trying to say here.
Pretty much. Just
Right.
be quiet. Do not say I did this when I was, because what they're going to do is they're going to write down in the report that you're still a drug user.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to, even if you have the first test, even if it was negative, it doesn't matter. You're still going to be a drug user. You know why? Because the judges in that courthouse literally take the recommendation of the social worker, regardless what you think.
And you know what else is unfair? I don't know if this happens there or not, but what if the drugs dealer or the alleged drug criminals had that same judge? Does that happen at that courthouse too, where the same judge is seen from, like, maybe they were got a pot charge when they were 15 or whatever, but then they go to that courthouse that you're talking about, and the TPR, is that the same judge sometimes?
Sometimes it is, because what they do is they move judges from departments. So the reason, I'll tell you. So basically, to be a CPS, I mean, a juvenile dependency judge is a big deal, because if you're a family court judge or you criminal judge or whatever judge, if you go to juvenile court, that means you're higher up, because it's state. So
Okay.
state is higher than county.
Right.
So any judge in family law court or any other court, except federal, of course, they're lower judges. So juvenile is higher judges, and they usually go up there by doing things that is not lawful.
Hmm.
So kiss ass or whatever you want to call it, they do whatever they want, they can, to move to that courthouse, because that courthouse gives them so much power. More power than a family law court judge, because they're higher than them. So if a family court judge said, you know what, you're the abuser, you did a psych evaluation and the psychiatrist said you're the abuser, the kids are not safe with you, CPS, I mean juvenile court judges can take that and switch it, meaning the abuser will get the child and the mother will be the perpetrator.
Mm.
Even with a psych evaluation saying there's nothing wrong with that parent, they will still give the parent to the abuser, whether it's the mother or the dads. The reason for that is because they want to give the kids to be traumatized. They want to place the children to be traumatized. And I told you guys this before. They're demonic, literally demonic. And I'm not joking about this. It's the God honest truth. Because if you harm children, you can't be normal. You can't. And God gave us children for a reason. They're a gift.
Yeah, it
So
wasn't to feed them up.
yeah.
For sure.
Go ahead, Darren. Actually, you mentioned it before in the Bible. So go ahead and feed us with that knowledge, because
Well,
yeah, this is a gift from God. We don't
this sure
mess
is.
with that.
No, and you know what? God's pissed. God's pissed because we're taking advantage, or we're allowing to be taken advantage of the gift that He's created us. See, we're all God because we're the creator. We created children. We have created the children. Women are the woe of men. You know, God needed a partner for, you know, they were bored. So they created the woe of man. Man and woman together are creators. And then they create the baby. And that's the gift. Like, we all have the gift of creation. And for us that have been fortunate enough to create, this very sacred, very, very, very sacred. Now, we're the only species of anything or being or whatever you want to call us that allow our kids to be taken. You go out in the wild, good luck. Go try to steal a bear cub from its mom, or just walk up on a wolf with their wolf pups around. You don't stand a chance. Even a chickadee will go at it and try to peck you to death until you at least leave or whatever, or the thing will die trying. But yet we as Americans and everybody around us are just, here you go, sir, sorry. I didn't do anything wrong, but you can take my kid because I'm scared of the police. I mean, what is that saying? The Bible says, don't learn from the book, look to the animals. They'll tell you everything that you need to know.
What verse is that in?
You know what? I can't. I'll tell you in a second. I know I've read it before. I don't know the exact one right off the head. I'll tell you right now because I haven't.
I know you read it before, and I remember.
I do too. God, don't tell anybody I'm a minister and I can't remember my own verses. I'm reciting.
No, it's okay.
But
Actually, it's a good verse, because God did tell us this is the children are gifts, and our job is to protect them as parents. Now, I'm not saying everyone deserves to be a mother or a father, and I mean, Not really. I'm being honest. A lot of people are crazy out there, and they
Yep.
don't deserve to even have a pet. To be honest with you.
Yep.
So, with that being said, we are talking about the good parents out there, the ones that deserve to keep their children, and the government should not have any rights to them.
No, absolutely not.
I happen to know, like I told you guys before, Darren's wife, Mary, is a sweetheart. I know you guys haven't met her, but she came, like, she showed her face a couple of times on the shows, and she's a good mom. She really is a good mom,
Yep.
and she doesn't deserve to lose her daughter in any way.
Nope.
And it absolutely breaks my heart. And there's a lot of mothers out there that don't deserve any of this, and there are good dads out there who don't deserve to deal with this bull crap.
And the only
Um,
reason she lost our daughter is because she supported me and stood behind me in our
yeah,
thing. That's no reason to take a child.
no,
But that should show family solidarity. That should show that you're strong as a family, and that's exactly what you need to raise a child. Is you need a
mhm,
unified family. Like that should be it. That you're solid. But they're
yeah,
not. They don't go by our values. They don't go by our rules. They don't go by
no,
the things that God set forth for us.
no, they
You
don't.
know, it's just an awful, awful thing. And you know what? Judgment day is coming, people. So you better rectify your situations very soon because it's going to be here sooner than you think.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, God is coming soon. I mean, I again, not everybody believes in God or Christ, but I do, and He is coming soon. Um, they don't like the family life, like Susan said. They don't like the family life in any way. So if you have a family life that God put together, they want to divide it. So who in the Bible wants to divide it is Satan and
Yep.
his little flying monkeys, demons, right? So basically, what they do is they go to good families and create chaos. So they create chaos and pretend, because remember, demons appear in somebody else's body. So that's why God said, you're not fighting against flesh and blood,
Yep.
but against principalities and higher places, meaning higher places, the government. That's the only higher places there is on earth.
Mm-hmm.
Is any chain in the government. That's a higher place. You get it in police officers as well. You get one of those officers who literally shoots somebody to death because they're eating a hamburger in their car.
Right.
I mean, that happened in LA County. This kid, 17 or 18-year-old kid, was eating a hamburger in the car, and the officer shot him dead. So to me, you can't. How are you going to shoot someone like that, right? Um,
I mean, you got to think about it this way. God gave his only son to us. He gave his son to be crucified on the cross. He gave his son's life so that we could all live and be prominent on this earth and be what he wanted us to be. And
mhm,
we're just letting it go by the wayside, like
mhm.
not paying attention. We're going out and we're paying attention to partying and, slacking off and little clothes. And meanwhile, our whole society is getting children having their sex organs removed so that they can create asexual people, removing the fathers from the household so that there's no more family units, promoting single mothers. And there's nothing wrong with single moms. I love them. They're strong. They're everything that they have to be when they have to be it. But come on, it would be so much stronger of a unit if they had a strong father with them and helping them raise their child. I'm not saying that anybody can't do this alone, and they can, but it would just be that much more. You mean you're more strong? You're more strong. You're stronger as two than you are one. I mean, and that's
You're more strong.
yeah, you're more strong with two than one. But you know what I mean?
Aaron
Like,
went from being British to being foreigner to
yeah.
being now he's being an American. Okay. So a player Mike said, Darren, you stayed. CPS doesn't like that. So there's
Right.
player Mike is right. You stayed.
Yeah.
And if you would have left, but they would
The
have
snake.
taken the cut from Mary anyways, regardless, really.
Right. We talked about that on the show
Yeah.
earlier. Was that I would love to find out or start a poll or something to find out how many people were told that if they split up with their mates, that they would get their kids back, and how many of those people actually did, or if they, because there's no way. This is what stinks. Like you did. You are right.
No, no, no. I
Oh,
said
oh,
that
oh,
before.
okay.
All the people that called me
Yeah.
throughout the years I've been with Davis.
Yeah.
They all told me the same thing. Miss G, my husband left, and I still didn't get my kids back.
Right.
I'm not saying 10% of the people that called me. I'm talking about 100% of the people that called me
Right. That
didn't
doesn't
get their
surprise
kids
me at
back.
all.
Yeah.
Doesn't
So I,
surprise me
I,
at all.
I told you this from experience. When I told you
Yep.
from day one that I spoke to you and Mary, their intention is not to ever give you your child back,
Right.
because Nina is on high demand, because
Yep.
they're treating your daughter like a merchandise, like everybody else's child.
Yep.
Nina has blue eyes, blonde hair. She
Mhm.
has a round face. She's cute. She's beautiful. So they're looking for that because that's
Right.
what's easily adopted.
Right. They're not in the system. They're going to go to the. Here's my question: why
Yeah.
are they making these families that are kinship and everything? Why are they making them do the foster programs now? Like they got to be a licensed foster home. Why are they doing that to everybody?
Are you talking about like relatives?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess anybody now. It
I'll
seems like
tell
that's
you.
what they're doing. Yeah.
That's a good question. The reason they're doing that, because in the law of CPS, the federal government is not going to fund them unless they are in a foster home.
Uh-huh.
So to twist the truth, they enforce people, relatives, to become foster parents.
Right. And then they must have longevity, right? Because now the children are living in foster homes for a long period of time. They're not
Correct.
in a kinship home, or they're not. So this is just their way of sustaining more Title IV funding.
Correct. That's it. It's
Yep.
all about the funding. If they get the child adopted in a foster home, they get more money from the
Yep.
federal government. And what gets me, and Darren, I know when we were doing the show together,
Yeah.
I told you guys about the video in the appellate. Was it
Yeah.
the
Well, I did that. Yeah.
local or
I
the
used that on
federal
my
court?
TikTok. Yeah. I used it on my TikTok. Remember?
Right. Yeah.
Where the guy
And
was fighting? He
yeah,
lost.
I told you about it, and you said you're going to put it on TikTok. I
Yeah.
understand that part. But do you remember when the CPS attorney was telling the judges that it's okay, that it
Yes.
is it is okay in their book for the
Yep.
social workers to lie,
Yep.
to steal a child from a parent? All three judges were
Yeah.
amazed. I think
Oh.
it was federal. Wasn't it federal? It's not. I
Yeah.
don't think
It was in Georgia, I believe. One of
it
those.
was. But was it federal or
Yeah.
was it?
It was definitely federal court.
Yes, it was
It was
federal. So
definitely.
three federal judges
Mm-hmm.
were amazed. I think the older guy, the
Yeah. He
older man,
stopped.
I loved him. He's like, "You mean to
Yep.
tell me
Yep.
that blah blah blah, that it's okay to lie?" And she said, "Well, she was going around it, like beating
Yeah.
around the bush." And I literally wanted to break my computer when I was watching it, because I couldn't believe that they have the audacity and the balls to actually say that to three
But
federal judges.
that's
And to me,
because they think they're immune to everything.
they
That's a,
are immune to
that's a
everything.
pure demonstration of how little that they care about our federal system, our judicial system, or any of the systems that are in place. They don't care because they're untouchable. They
Yeah,
will say what they want to say. They'll do what they want to do. They'll take what they want to take. And what are you going to do about it? Because these supervisors are going to, I mean, it's like a big bully system.
right.
You think that one caseworker's rogue. No, that's not the case, because you go to the supervisor and they're 10 times worse. It's like they're sending out the goon squad. Like, I did that. And it
But
goes right to the top.
Darren, do you remember when I told you about the two girls that I talked to a lot that used to work as social workers? They showed me text messages from their boss, their supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what the supervisor does, she or he tells them to lie, right?
Yeah.
Then when they're on the stand, the social workers that lied for that supervisor,
Right.
when they're on the stand testifying, they're going to lie again, obviously,
Mhm.
and then cover the supervisor, meaning on the stand, they're not going to say, the supervisor told me so. They're not going to say that.
Right.
They're going to cover for their supervisor. Even if they're found they're lying on the stand, they're not going to get fired. So what the supervisor, what the department is going to do is they're going to promote them.
Yeah. Get them out of that position and promote them.
Correct.
Correct.
So they're not going to be social workers anymore. They're going to have a higher title because they did their job by protecting
Yep.
the county, that
They did
office.
just like the mafia. You get pinched, you get to move up because you didn't squeal.
Right. Yeah, the mafia. Like if you go
Right.
kill somebody, I don't know,
Yeah.
Target.
Right. But you shut your mouth the first time you get arrested, you get a little promotion because you closed your mouth. You didn't say
Correct.
anything. Took it like
Correct.
a man. Same thing. There's same mentality.
Right. And they go after attorneys' children too, and families, just so you know. The
Hmm.
girls told me that. And I went on YouTube and they showed me a video, and the video shows an attorney that was protecting a mother's rights in court. And she fought really hard for her. The social workers went after her children to remove her children from her. So they target the attorney that was defending the mom in court for her rights. So remember that. They target anyone. That's why the girls that I talk to, they don't want, they're so terrified that their sister will lose her kids, or their best friends, or
Yeah.
they're scared. They're freaking scared because before they left, they told them and they threatened them that if they said anything, if any of the things that happen in the department comes out, they will go after their family.
Yeah.
And it's not even a threat, because one of the girls said it's not a threat, it's a promise.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, I know someone up here that's very close to me. This person is very high up in the medicine field. He is an officer in a division of the military up here, holds a
Hmm.
great leadership role,
Hmm.
um, runs one of the hospitals up in the state. And I asked them for help, and because they have, I mean, these doctors like that, they have huge power, and they themselves even said, "I can't. There's nothing I can do." And I'm not willing to put myself, my reputation, and all of these things on the line, because the second that they find out that
Hmm.
this person would be helping you, they're going to lose everything that they've worked for, or they're going to come after their kids. This power at B has no prejudice. You know,
It
it's
doesn't have any prejudice, but the thing is, after that court hearing that I was talking to you guys about earlier, if you notice, okay, so if the federal judges notice that there's a lot of corruption in every state, and they heard this CPS lawyer literally say that it's okay to lie, wouldn't you think the logic thing to do is literally investigate every case they found guilty?
every case at all,
I'm talking about, no, I guess you're right. You're absolutely right. Every case.
right? I mean, what are they
Yeah, every
doing?
case.
What are
I'm
they?
sorry. I was thinking about the guilty,
Because if
the ones that lost parental rights, all that. Yeah.
right, because if they're saying that, that one person's saying that, well, who's that one? Like, who was representing them in the courtroom, right? So that person had to have been like up on an upper echelon, which means that they're telling the person below them, which means the people below them are being told, and so that's got to say, look, that's got to scream, look at the corruption here. We don't care. We're going to do what we want. We're telling you, Your Honor, we lie. And you know what they did? Nothing. They bickered about it and gave the face of that they were concerned, but in the end result, they
Yeah.
upheld that decision and nothing was done. Like, how about, why are these judges so married to this? And how can they not, why can they not speak out and say, look, I'm not going to, I mean, these judges are elected. That's why what Mr. Davis has been doing with like the states and getting the state captains to get the legislation and all these things. That's why that's so important, because a lot of these places, these judges are actually voted in. So a way that we can make a change so that these judges are in favor of family and all that is to vote. I know that seems lame and it seems like long term and all that, but in reality, all of these laws are put into place so that the family stays together. Title IV funding doesn't say steal kids; it says keep the family unit together. However, CPS has manipulated it, changed the words, added their own discretion to make it into legislation and all of this stuff, so that it has now turned to a corrupt thing.
Right.
Originally, it was good,
In fact, they also don't follow their own rules in their book.
right?
And they and one of the attorney that I was telling you guys about that used to work there, she told me that they told her they don't have to. I swear, I'm not lying. She literally said that. She said they told her they don't have to. She doesn't work there anymore, but in LA County. But she's working by herself now for herself. But she's helping any parent with CPS cases. Um, the corruption, if, like I said, if a social worker stays after that social worker learns of the corruption, that means that social worker is corrupt. If a
Yeah.
social worker resigns, or an attorney resigns, or whatever, they resign, that means they have morals, they have values, they have
Mhm.
integrity, they have character.
Yeah.
The ones that stay lack all of the above. They lack it, they don't have it.
Hmm.
And that's basically the system that we're dealing with. I don't believe, I used to think vote, vote, vote because Davis told us that.
Yeah.
I don't believe voting is going to help.
Right. And
Reason,
I
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
The reason I'm
Well,
saying that is because even if they're good politicians, they're going to be corrupt
right.
because
We said
they're
that
going
at
to
the
be
seminar,
forced.
right? We were talking
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. They're going to be forced to do it. Me personally, if we all rally in front of Washington D.C. and Virginia and Georgia, and where they see the government sees that all the people are fed up, but
Yeah.
rally in peace, not go breaking anything because
Right.
that's what they want. So, with that being said, to me, the government is going to be so afraid of us. A lot of people say to me, Georgette, I'm afraid of Satan. But what you guys don't understand is that he's more afraid of you than you are of him. And the reason being because Satan only attacks those who are chosen by God.
Mhm.
If you guys notice, evil people get away with it. They get away with
All the time. All
all
the
the
time.
shit that they do is because Satan is already he already knows they're not the chosen ones. Because
Right.
Satan can see the light in you. When a demon sees the light in you, they get
Right.
terrified of it.
Right. When you were a little kid, you hung out with Johnny Joe over there that
Yeah,
you could go in the store and steal a candy bar every day, never get
right,
caught. You go in the store and you think about it. Next thing you know,
right,
you're getting in trouble. Your parents are being called. You're like, I didn't even do anything. Right.
right.
Those people are known, but there's the bad people are getting away with it all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just like this. People, I get a question like this all the time. Well, what about the people that don't deserve their children back that are, trying to fight with you guys? And I said, whoa, 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 whoa. These are not the people that are fighting with us. The people that have actually committed these atrocities to the children, they're not into this for 2, 3, 4, 5 years fighting for their kids back. They were gone the second that the fosters, that they were shipped off to a foster family. You don't see, I haven't seen, look, I used to think about it like this. If you had CPS in your life, you sucked. You didn't deserve your kids, and you must be an awful person. I'd turn my back on you and walk away, not even give you a chance. I haven't met really anyone since I've been doing this for 2.5, 3 years that I would actually have turned my back on and said, wow, you're a terrible person. I mean, people have had made mistakes, sure, but nothing to the magnitude of that they should be taking your kids. Like I've yet to hear of one person that actually got involved because they actually laid a hand on their kid. I've not heard one story. Well, I'm sorry, I lie. The gentleman from Canada that slapped his kid in the butt with a slipper. That's it. I mean, how many stories do you hear where the abuse is that the children got hit or beaten when they call your office? No one calls about that, right?
I got a call one time from a, a, a professional prostitute in LA
Mm-hmm.
County,
Mm-hmm.
and downtown LA. It was, I guess, FBI. I don't know. They busted in the motel and they found the woman, the mother, with a baby in a crib. Not a crib, but I guess
Fascinating.
a playpen. The baby
Yep.
was 3 years old, and the baby was watching. The child was watching the mother having
Work.
multiple sex with different men.
Yeah.
When that hotel room was rigged, they took the baby. I kid you not, I'm not joking. They took the baby. Um, 6 weeks later, the baby was given back to her.
Of course.
She
Yeah.
said to me, I don't want the baby. I don't want my child. I'm too busy doing this. I don't have time to take care of the child.
Mm-hmm.
So I told the social worker, she said, to put the child in a good home. But the social worker said no. And the judge said no. That's in LA County, by the way, in the whorehouse I was telling you guys about.
Mm-hmm.
And they told her she has to keep the baby. So they forced her to keep the baby. And she's telling me that she needed help not to keep the baby.
That's crazy.
I
That's
literally wanted to hang
scary.
up on her, but I had to treat her the same as any human.
Right.
Because in her mind, that's what she wants to do. Who am I to judge her, right? But
Right.
I was sad because there's so many other moms and dads fighting, and she's not fighting. But why did they keep the child with her anyways? Why? If that was any other mom out there doing that, they will never give her the child back. So to me, in my head, the question remains as, if you fight for your child, do they um, insist on not giving you your child? But if you don't fight for your child, they will give you your child. Kind of like a sociopath. If you resist, he or she is going to torment you. But if you no wait, if you don't resist, yeah, if you don't resist, then they will leave you alone
Hmm.
because you're not a challenge to them.
Right.
Basically, I kind of find it. Am I saying that right? I
Yeah,
think
you're
about
saying
that a lot.
if you were like, nope, okay, social services, here's my kid, and you just ignore the fact that they're there, you didn't do the classes, any of that stuff, they would try to force that kid back into your life. But if
Yeah,
you're sitting there like I was, or like you were, or anybody else, we're like, give us our kids back. This is wrong. How dare you? Yada yada. You do the services 20 times over. They take more. It's like a vicious, nasty game for them.
yeah,
And that's it. Look, I know when I was in my situation when we were at the courthouse, and I'll only say this because I mean it on my side, is that we were in trial based on alleged incidents that the state dismissed, which had nothing to do with our child anyway, but the state ends up dismissing 2 months or 2 weeks later. Of course, imagine that, right? In the courtroom next to us was a child who was thrown down the basement stairs, had a fractured skull. The parents injected the child with fentanyl so that they kept it alive. And then the baby ended up getting hepatitis C from all of this. And they were given more reunification services. I was TPR'd off of an allegation. There was true 100% abuse right in the next courtroom, and they get to keep their kid. Now, what's that saying? You know?
that to me. What about the moms who are getting beaten by the dads and
Yeah,
the fathers, and then the police come, sees the bruises on the mother, and they arrest the mother? I don't get
yeah,
that.
right. Because the mother's out of control, yelling mad, saying that she's out of. Of course she's out of control. She just got slapped around by some huge dude that should know better than to put his hands on any woman. First of all, if you ever lay hands on a woman, you're a freaking coward.
Mhm.
That's first and foremost. No real man puts his hands on a woman ever, no matter what. Like that's the first thing. But then you expect them, after you're supposed to be the one that they trust and adore and hold all these good secrets and feelings with, and they just got the crap kicked out of them out of the blue. They're supposed to not be angry. They're not supposed to be upset, flipping out and screaming. Their whole trust thing just got ripped out. I mean, that's no different than what happens at CPS. We're not, as parents, supposed to be upset and mad when they come and take our kid. We're supposed to be, oh, yes, sir, have a coffee. Come on in. Let me make you dinner before you guys leave with my kid.
Yeah,
What are you supposed, come
yeah.
on.
But I honestly think they're like the girls again, the social workers I'm talking to. They said that I don't know if you guys recall this, like years ago when I first did the shows, and I told you the reason they don't want the kids is because they're damaged
The
goods, broke
damage,
kids.
right?
So they literally told me that is true. When a
Yeah,
child is damaged, say the mother is a prostitute, right? They don't know what the mother did to have that child. Meaning, does the child have AIDS? Does the child have drugs in the system? They don't want to deal with this. So a lot of the adoptive foster homes, they were told, by the way, they were told that anyone that wants to adopt the cheap way, meaning you don't need to have money in your account, um, by being a foster parent. So to adopt is free. So the benefit, it goes to the county. If you want to adopt without being a foster parent, you have to have at least $50,000 or $80,000 to get that baby.
right,
So to them, this is the cheapest way. So what they do is they put children in that home, right, who are healthy. So they target healthy parents who are poor, not poor, even middle class, even.
right.
Middle class people, have Medi-Cal too. Anyone with Medi-Cal, they become a target.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's probably like the base list that they hit right off of, because they know the income, they know everything, what they can get, because they don't want to take on a family. They want to take on a family that's just good enough in stature and all this stuff, but they can't afford Mr. Davis. They're going to need to get a court appointed attorney.
Or
That's
any attorney, or any
right,
attorney.
right. But
Yeah.
I'm saying that's what they know this. They know this when they come in. We're targeted. There's no doubt that we're
Because
targeted.
the DPSS stands for um, public Department Public. You know where you get food stamps, cash aid, and
Yeah.
Medi-Cal. Okay, that department.
Yeah.
They're next door to CPS.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's just
CPS and them are next door to each other. So anyone in the system, CPS gets a sniff of.
Yep.
Anyone, because if you have Medi-Cal, for example, in the paperwork, you're going to put all the people in your home, all the little children, how old are they, what's their name, what's their date of birth, where they go to school, blah, 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 blah.
Are they in
Then,
date? All that
right,
stuff. The whole
what they
stuff.
assist, right? They assist this crap.
Mm-hmm.
The paperwork goes to a different department to assist the paperwork,
Yep.
and then you get approved. When you get approved, you become a target,
Yep.
especially the ones that have babies. If you notice, the ones that don't have children, it takes a while for them to get approved.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones that have children get approved very fast. Reason being is because they're already putting your number in the list. Everyone has a number.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that just speaks volume right there. That's why it's best. I know, try your hardest. If you have to work 2 jobs or 3 jobs,
Whew.
don't collect from the government,
No.
because you become a target. And that a lot of work doesn't give you insurance. A lot of companies don't even provide insurance. So you have to rely on Medi-Cal, for example. So
Oh,
there's
here
not,
they come. Look, I hear them. They're coming because you're talking.
yeah.
The sirens are coming for you, Miss G.
Oh, you're such an ass. I didn't even think about that. I just realized I wasn't
Look,
even listening to the
they hear you
sirens.
talking. They hear you talking, so they're coming to shut you down. Oh man.
Eh,
It is.
only
It's
God
crazy.
has
And
power.
here's the thing. I thought all this stuff's supposed to be confidential, private, and all that. Why are these people? Why are these 23-year-old caseworkers fresh out of college with their God badge getting access to all your deepest, darkest secrets that are supposed to be protected under HIPAA and all these laws and things? Why are they allowed to get carte blanche to all of your paperwork? Why
Yeah,
is it that the judge says that you denied them access to your blah 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 when I'm sitting there saying, "Whoa, no, they don't need to know anything about when I was 12 years old. My 12-year-old life had nothing to do with my situation I'm in now, nor moving forward. So leave that out of there. But yet they're accessing all this. Be aware when you guys are signing these releases. First of all, don't sign them until your attorney reviews them. And then, second of all, make sure that you review it again after your attorney and watch out what they're asking you to approve, what they're asking you to say. This is okay that I get, because they love
right.
to slip in history and slip in this and slip in all of these weird little things that if you're not paying attention, you're like, oh, this is just a release so I can talk to your counselor. Oh, okay, no problem. No, it is a problem, because if you read in there, it says not only what you're currently doing, but the history, what you've talked about in that meeting, there's all of these different selections that they've selected. That's none of their damn business. The only thing that they're supposed to be getting is a result saying yes, no, they did this, they peed, they did whatever, and that's it. Move along, thank you, bye. They're not privy to any of that stuff, but they get it and find out you had Adderall when you were 10 years old, and all of a sudden you got a whole new problem. Now you're crazy in the head, and now, like, see what they do? They just dig and dig and dig into you. Like, these people think that they have ADHD now, and they do Adderall. Like, oh, hey, I'm on Adderall, or I was on Adderall for this. You were dumb. Why did you just tell them that? Because now you've just been put in that cycle of being an addict, and that's a whole new thing now, like,
But
people need to.
even if they're look, even even if the mother had a C-section, and say the mother has Medi-Cal, she has a C-section. There's a drugs they gave the mother, right? So after the C-section, they
Mhm.
also provide the mother with Percocet, meaning it's a narcotic drug having a C-section, guys, is not like normal birth. It's painful.
I
It's
suppose.
so painful.
Oh my gosh.
And that's like cutting every layer in your
Yeah.
stomach to get that baby out. And then they
Oh,
have to sew it. So having a C-section is 100 times worse than
God bless
painful than having natural birth. So the mother needs that pain. That Advil is not going to help. Basically, okay, ibuprofen is not going to cut it.
Right. We have a Tylenol, children's Tylenol, after you
Right?
just cut someone in half.
Yeah, you can't. But then they tell the mother, hey, you have drugs in the system. No, it's not drugs. It's not considered drugs, because
Right. You have to.
drugs, yeah, it's not considered drugs if you're taking it for only, the doctor prescribes it usually for 10 days. So if you're in the middle of your 10 days and they tell you you're on drugs, that's not drugs. It's
Right.
not. It's not even. They can't even do that. But they do it because they know the mother doesn't have money to fight.
Right.
I told you guys before, and there's a grandmother watching. Her name is Lori. Lori. Um, what they do is they divide you guys apart. The mom, the dad, the mother, the grandmother, the grandfather, and so forth. They divide you guys apart by saying lies to each one of you about the other person. Then they get you guys to abandon your own child, who is the mother or the father, and no financial help, no mental help whatsoever, no family support whatsoever. Be careful with all that, because division has to happen in order for the conquer to
Mm,
take place.
yep.
They cannot conquer you unless they divide you.
Damn right.
Another thing, like what look what happened in Israel when they had when they signed the peace treaty, for example. Look what happened.
Mm-hmm.
They got comfortable. Once you put your guards down, they're going to attack you. Why is that? Because now they have you. When an enemy wants you, they're not going to stop. They're going to be friends to you. You know, they're going to actually be friends with you. They're going to know everything about you. They're going to know that you're celebrating a holiday, for example, and you're too busy to even, focus on what's going on or what's going to happen to your country. So
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly what happened. The attack happened on Saturday during their holiday. So with that being said, no matter what you sign, what did Biden do? He didn't do anything. He didn't send them. I mean, he didn't give them a head. Nobody knows what's going to happen, right?
Right.
Only the enemy does. Same thing with CPS. They use the same strategy. They have to have your trust first,
Yep.
make you think they're doing their job, meaning they're protecting your child. Then after that, guess what? Everything that they told you is false. Why? Because they send you so many different people,
Mm-hmm.
so many different social workers to send a different message.
Mm-hmm.
You're so cluttered from all the other 10 messages
Yeah. You forget.
that were false, promised to the new poop from hell worker who saw you for 5 minutes and literally knows you. 5 minutes. She just knows you. She knows you're the scum of the earth. She knows all that about you.
Wow.
And then writes her recommendation, even though the first three social workers said, no, you're good parents, blah, blah, blah. No, 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 no. Because they can't lose. Demons don't want to lose. Because if a demon loses, they become very um hmm,
Angry?
no, no.
No.
They don't use anger. They use
Dark powers?
demon are smooth. They're smooth. They don't use anger because they want to be in control, meaning, my mom used to tell me, don't be afraid of the barker. Be afraid of the biter.
Mm. Yeah.
Because you can bark, you can shout, you can get mad if your feelings are hurt, or you feel you know abandoned, or you feel betrayed. Yes, you can bark, you can get mad. Those are not the ones to get upset at. You get upset at the ones who are smooth, meaning they're so mellow about the situation, because what they're trying to do is they want to deceive you. They want you to think that don't worry about me, you know what I mean? But those are the ones you need to worry about, because those are the ones that's going to bite without you realizing it. And it's not just a regular bite, it's like a dog bite. When a dog
Mm.
bites, it locks its jaw.
Mm.
You cannot get that dog to unleash or on whatever. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To unlock it. You can't. You have to shoot it.
Mm. Yeah.
That's exactly how life works. So always be careful with the smooth talkers. Always be careful with the ones who are too calm.
Mm-hmm.
There's a problem with that. Just remember that. Um, they're very sneaky. Thank you. That thank you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
DTF Slayer said sneaky. Yeah, very sneaky. M Young said that also they are trying to keep my middle daughter based on a past case that was dismissed by the judge. M. Young, I remember you. Yes, any cases that you had previously and it was dismissed by a judge, they're gonna hold that case against you.
Hmm.
That's the moment you need to lawyer up. The beginning of your case, you need to lawyer up
Hmm.
100%, not wait. A lot of people say wait, I'm a good parent. No, the good parents who know they are good parents don't wait. The ones who are bad parents, you're probably gonna get your kids back. If you're the abuser, you will get your kids back. If you're not the abuser, you're not gonna get your child back. I don't know. Darren, you could put your 2 cents into it, but
Well,
that's
you know how I feel about the whole thing too. I mean, we got the perfect example right here with our friend from earlier. Um, the one that was on our show, and she's been on our show, but the husband did attempted murder in the park, and then now he is with child, and she's with the child's with the father and the caseworker, and she now has been TPR'd. So I mean, this is just it's proof, and it's all around us. I mean, how many stories do we hear time after time of these women being abused? I mean, I bet you at least 10 times with stories with you that that we've heard of women that have gotten slapped, beat up, or something like this, and then the ex has the children still, and they're not allowed to see them. I mean, I don't. This doesn't even make sense. That's how ridiculous this is. And you hear it, and the crazy thing is you almost think of it as the norm. Like you just expect them to say that this is going to happen. Now, there's a problem when you expect it. Like there's no shock value to it anymore because it happens so much. And I would love to think that everybody is out there and they're not supporting this movement because they're like, well, they're so whacked that they're doing this. No, people just don't understand that there's no boundaries. There's no sort of there's no boundaries, there's no prejudice, there's no nothing. This can be anybody's children.
there's no accountability.
Right. Well, there's no accountability. So that lives, and they've got a God badge. Think about it. They can take away, they have the most powerful position that there is. They can come in there and take your child. You want to cripple a person? Take their child. You have just, it's, I can't even explain it. I still haven't even accepted, and nor will I accept it because I'm still fighting too. But no, 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 no. Like there needs to be enough of you guys. You need to fight this stuff. Like I was talking to someone earlier. They're like, well, what can we do? What can we do? You know what? The answer is no one knows because it would be done. But I
Hmm.
know if we stop our children from being taken, I know that they can't get money for that. I don't know. Go ask them to do an audit by the IRS. Who knows? Nobody knows the answer to this. That's why all of us need to get together in a mass amount and be strength of one, because then we'll figure the answers out. Like that's what it is because we don't have it. So if we build a big enough thing that all of us group together and we're stuck together and we're solid together, then we're going to be able to come up with that answer, or we're going to make the damn answer. And they're the ones that are going to listen. But you can't do that when there's just 15 of us here and 4 of us there and 6 here. There's no validity to the whole argument to the world. It's sad, but it's the truth. Like until we can get people doing preemptive CPS happenings, everybody should talk to their children, whether you've had CPS involvement or not. You should talk to your kids and make sure that they know if not only a stranger comes up to them to talk to them, that you poke their eyes out or you do something like that, scream for help, do all that. But if a CPS worker comes up to you and asks you to interview with you or whatever, that you do the same thing as if it's a stranger, because you know what, the outcome could possibly be the same as if it was a stranger. One way or the other, that kid is going to be taken.
Don't
So
open the door.
right.
And I was told by law also, I asked attorneys on the seminar and I asked Attorney Davis several times. He said, and the other attorney said, they cannot go to the schools without a court order to speak to your child. Now, the teacher and the principal's job is to ask for a court order because they're not. Imagine I just go to anybody's school and say, hey, I want to talk to Maria Hernandez. I'm in class, I don't know, history class in room 407, something
Right.
like that. You think the teacher or the principal is going to be like, oh, yeah, sure.
I don't
They're
know.
going to ask for my credentials. They're going to ask me why. They're going to ask blah, 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 blah. But if I had a badge that says Department of Children and Family Services, and they don't ask if that person has a court order to speak to
Mhm.
the child, they can be held accountable because they need a court order for everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they sure do. And let me ask you this. You know how, like, if you get into an argument, let's say me and you were in a relationship together and we got into an argument and we have a child. Now, someone calls the cops because they say, hey, we heard Miss G and Darren over there, they're arguing, and can we get a cop to respond? The cops show up and you're sitting there, you're saying, no, Darren, I'm going to take the child. And I say, no, you're going to leave the kid here, or I'm taking, and the cops are going to say, whoa, guys, we can't, listen, you guys need to figure this out. We can't determine, or we can't get involved in your civil matter, right? Like, that's what they say. You're going to have to go take that up with a judge, a whole different thing. Well, why is it that the cops can come with CPS and defend CPS when they come to take your child? Why is that not a civil matter that they can't be involved in? Because they can't be involved in separating you and your wife when you're having a disagreement with the custody. Why can they just come take the child from you and the police just stand there and do not a damn thing? Or are we just not paying attention and allowing them? I mean, could we possibly be like able to go, hey, excuse me, officer, arrest this person for taking my child? But no one's ever done that. Like, has no one ever done? You know what I mean? Like, are we just doing this wrong?
Actually, the officer is supposed to look for a court order.
Okay.
The officer of the law is to protect and serve.
Mm-hmm.
Any entity that goes to that officer and says, come with me, we're taking a child, that officer by law has to ask that entity, do you have a court order? And by law, that officer is not allowed to enter somebody's home without a court order. If that officer enters a home without a court order, as Attorney Vincent Davis said, you can actually sue that department.
Oh, wow.
So basically, you can sue the police department and you can sue the social workers entity, CPS.
Now,
The reason being is because they took a child without a court order.
do they have to have an actual wet ink signature? Do you know, or can they do? Because rubber stamping, right? Like caseworkers do that rubber stamping thing all the time. Those
Yeah.
orders aren't even signed by the judges. The caseworkers get it signed by someone else or whatever, but it's the judge's signature. They call it rubber stamping.
Right. I asked Attorney Davis that, and he
Yeah.
said it doesn't matter as long as it has the judge's name on it.
That is insane. Absolute. So not only can they perjure a document by themselves and attest to it and make it all legitimate, they know about it and it's okay. I saw for these people I
But
know.
who has the? Not anybody can have a rubber stamp. Like, for example, I used to work for a corporation where the executive, the CEO of the company, had his stamp with his signature in a safe, and
Yep.
only me and somebody else had the combination. Meaning, we had half of the combination, and the other person had half of the combination.
Right.
And with that, both of us together, we cannot get that stamp out, right?
Right.
So if something is stamped, me and this person will be in, we will be responsible. So, when you're bonded with the FBI and you work in a corporation that handles people's money, we would be responsible. So we will both be in heat together,
Right.
right? So I don't know how they do it in the county, for example, of the judge's stamp, with stamp, whatever they call it. I mean, sorry,
Rubber stamp.
stamp, rubber stamp. Sorry, yes, with stamp, rubber stamp. Who knows nowadays? Rubber stamp. Do they need 3 people to get it out, or just one person?
Right. Do they just have it laying on a desk and anybody can go by and just
That's
stamp
the
it
thing.
up? Right.
That's the thing. Right. So who's really in communication with the judge? But then the judge is not going to throw the social worker under the bus. So either way, they work together. Whether it's dry or wet, they work together. That sounds so weird. Yeah, they work together.
My daughter Bree, she went and got a stack of papers to do some paperwork for a court hearing. And it was pretty serious stuff that she was trying to get involved in. She went there and she had to pay $5 for the packet or whatever that the court had given her. Inside of that was already a raised seal stamped thing for an affidavit, signed, attested for, and stamped and sealed. Now, you
Wow.
can go and just buy that That's supposed to be that they see you, they make sure that you is you, make sure that the item that's on there is you, you've written it, you know what I mean? And that's what that's supposed to be. But you can really just go into the courthouse and be like, $5, please, because that's what the notary is going to charge you anyway to stamp your stuff. But you're supposed to be there in person with the actual writings for them to see it, check it, like, and she's going in there and she bought blank affidavits with the raised seal, everything. Hundreds. I couldn't believe it. I was beside myself. So you could write whatever you wanted now on this thing and attest that it was true and that someone witnessed it.
Wow.
Like, whoa, what the hell is going on?
Corruption is easy
Mm-hmm.
in this country. Corruption is easy in this company.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this country. And
well, you got that right. This company, that's right. This corporation we have in the United States.
Yeah.
So
basically, to me, voting is not going to help. I'm sorry. Because how many times did we vote and everybody's like family people? Well, if you're family people, how can you allow this to happen? How can you not dig into the truth? I think they killed Nancy Schaefer, Senator Nancy Schaefer.
Yep.
She was murdered because they want to teach everybody else a lesson.
Mm-hmm. She was the biggest thing that's been up in this way. She was
so basically, if you really guys think about it, they wanted to teach people a lesson in the government. The reason for that is they're telling them, hey, don't even try. Don't try, because you're going to lose your family. You're going to lose your life. They're mafias. I told you guys this a million times. They're mafias. You're dealing with the mafia. I'm not talking about the Godfather movie. They're worse than the Godfather.
That's what I was just going to say to you. I was just going to say that. They're way worse. Look, I know a lot of people in this world, and CPS is the worst of the people. It's just terrible.
Mm-hmm. They are. And also, if you guys really do your homework, a lot of social workers date a lot of cartels.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about in LA County. We're talking about in San Bernardino and Lancaster. They date a lot. They date cartels. Mm. I want you guys to do your homework. I want you guys to understand that a social worker would never resign unless they know that the corruption is deeper than the public thinks. When they date the cartels, guess what? Some of the kids become sex trafficked. All the missing children is from within. All the so-called runaways are from within. So I want you guys to be mindful and alert, and I want you guys to fight for your kids. This is not a funny ha-ha situation whatsoever. I don't care if you've done meth. I don't care if you've done cocaine. And you cleaned up and God forgives. Who are they to judge? That's the thing with me. God created us. He has the authority over us. Who are they to judge your life? Because the kids were not abandoned. The kids were not, mistreated. The kids were not abused. The kids were taken care of. So why judge you? And they're leaving the ones who are killing their own children alone. Mm-hmm. It makes absolutely no sense. So I believe in my heart that when they see the whole entire United States citizens rallying, we're standing together as one in peace without any problems. Mm-hmm. They're going to shit in their panties.
Yes, they are, Miss G.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying. But they don't. They want. If we're not united, we're freaking divided. Mm-hmm. We're not united. I don't care if you get along with someone or not. At that point, for the children, unite. Unite. The reason for that is because you're uniting for everyone's children and your children. Mm-hmm. No one deserves to lose their child. I mean, not the ones that lock them up and, beat them and sexually molest them. Those are the ones that the children should not be with. But we're not talking about those, because those are the ones that were not touched. We're talking about the parents who are touched, who don't deserve this. The law states if a parent is, like, for example, doing drugs, get them help. Mm-hmm. But the social worker says, oh, they're going to do it again. Now, how? Okay, so You say they're gonna do it again, but then you take you terminate their parental rights and expect them not to do drugs again. Of course, they're gonna do drugs again. Like if you really think about it, yeah,
Yeah, you
I
just shatter them.
mean, exactly.
Hmm.
So how you know they become the future? They become the future. They become the I don't know the death chair. I
Hmm.
mean, they literally kill a parent and say, "Well, I told you, Your Honor, they relapse." Well, idiot, they relapse because you just literally said they're gonna lose their rights.
Hmm.
If you would have told the parent who went to rehab, you're gonna be reunified with your child, that parent will never do drugs again because they felt the pain of not being with their child. So they use that and for their advantage by a social worker telling a parent, "Oh, you're gonna lose your parental rights next week." Remember that. That's what they tell them.
Hmm.
Then after the social worker says that, they're freaking out. The parent is freaking out. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? The first thing they do is what? They need something to relax them. It's
Yeah.
drugs
Yeah.
or alcohol or whatever they use. Then the
Hmm.
social worker is going to come in unexpected and ask for a drug test. Understand the strategy, people. They're going to come unexpected and ask for a drug test. Why?
Even.
Because they know they triggered you and they
Yep.
know that
Damn right.
after they triggered you, you're going to start doing drugs again. And
Hmm.
they're going to say to the judge, "Hey, Your Honor, look,
Hmm.
they relapsed."
Hmm.
Explain that.
They're going to know that that's coming to any parent because any
Yeah,
parent's so destroyed.
there you go. But then the judge is going
Hmm.
to, the parent cannot speak in court, and your court appointed scum poop is not going to speak either for you. So basically, the judge doesn't know that social worker told you you're going to lose your parental rights,
Hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
the judge is going to automatically say, "Oh, okay, she relapsed or he relapsed. Now we're not going to we're not going to send you the child." So
Hmm.
there you go. That's how their strategy works. That's why oftentimes I say, don't let it get to you when it comes to the social workers. The only
Hmm.
time you let it, see, they're not your friends. It only hurts you when they're your friends. When they're your friends, it hurts you. But when they're not your friends, you're not touched by it.
Hmm.
Remember that. So love is deeper. So you don't know these people. You didn't have any type of relationship with them. They're strangers to you. You didn't talk on the phone for hours. You didn't, interact with them whatsoever. It's just a few minutes. So when they target you and you are cold to their demise, they're going to flee from you. That's what you guys don't understand. But if you give them a
Hmm.
reason, they're going to keep coming back to you.
Yep.
So just learn. You only get hurt, right, from friends or family because you love them.
Hmm.
You fight with your friends and family. But with them, you have to be as cold as ice machine.
Hmm. Amen to
And
that.
that's it. And let it go. Meaning they
Hmm.
try to get under your skin, just look at them, say nothing. Oh, they're gonna piss them off.
Hmm.
The silent you become,
Hmm.
they're gonna get so pissed off and they're
Hmm.
gonna keep trying, trying, trying. Then after that, they're like, we can't get to this person.
Hmm.
What else can we do? It's not honey that you get these people with. It's
Hmm.
silence. They're not honey does not work with them. Honey is just a kiss ass technique.
Hmm. Yep.
So
You get more. You get more. What is it? I forget what it was. That one episode where that lady was like, You get more bees with brake fluid than you do honey. I forget what it was. It was
I
funny though.
forgot. I don't know which one you're
It,
talking about, but yeah, it makes sense.
was funny as heck. It was a
Yeah,
mechanic person.
yeah. And by the way, a lady mentioned here the grandmother. She said she was on the show. Lori said, at Miss G, I was on this show on July 3rd. My son, stepdaughter,
Yeah.
yeah, 3 times assault. He is in jail. on $250 bond. I think we spoke to each other on the phone too before. I remember that $250,000 bond, Lori. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, her son is in jail for a false accusation.
Mhm.
And also, guys, just real quick, I just want to mention a lot of people in jail are innocent. So the ones that kept in jail are innocent. The ones that let out are the sex traffickers, the child molesters, all these men, rapers, all this, and they go rape more and kill more and destroy more. So you're letting out the destruction, but you're locking in the innocent ones who keeps screaming out innocent. So also the jail facilities have a lot. Darren, do you want to go ahead and say your last piece on this?
Yeah, well, the jail facilities, they do have a lot of the innocence. They do have a lot of, well, look at it this way. The Amber Alert, for instance, let's talk about this for a second. The Amber
Mhm.
Alert's made for what? Why did they make the Amber Alert? To
What are they?
kidnap, when children get kidnapped, right?
I don't
That's
know.
what
What was
so
your question?
the Amber Alert, the Amber Alert system.
Oh
Am
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
So they do an Amber Alert when that's supposed to be for when kids are kidnapped, right? That's
yeah. Right,
missing children. But
right.
have you noticed the only time they do an Amber Alert is when it's a child that their parent has gone and tried to steal them back from CPS?
Hmm.
You don't ever
That's the
hear
only.
you don't
That's the
ever
only Amber Alert. You're
right.
right.
They're not going after these real kidnapping people. They're going after the kids that have been kidnapped by their parents. Now the Amber Alert system also says that a parent cannot kidnap their own child. You know, so all of this going together, this whole hogwash system, this whole hogwash thing, there's so many arguments, there's so many wrongdoings by them that someone's just got to come forward, clean this crap up, end it, do something, because too many people are paying for it, and this world's too beautiful, and there's so much good time left to live. We're only here once, and you know what? To deal with this shit, this has just wasted my time and my life,
Yeah.
and it's wasted my child's. And enough is enough. And that's really all I got to say about that.
Natalia said they did an Amber Alert for DCFS stealing kids. Yep,
Yes,
I
exactly.
agree with you on that one. We the public should come up with that Amber Alert. By the way,
I told you I'm trying to come up with a group with motorcycle guys. Remember we talked about this
I
with
have my
motorcycle
people
guys.
here.
Wait,
My
I know
motorcycle
I've been
guy
waiting.
here.
So I want to have a motorcycle guys, and then I want to have a lawyer, and I also want to have former police or military people go out in a group together, just like they do when they protect the coffins. So if a child is being taken by CPS, these people are alerted and they show up there and they make sure that everything is 100% legal. They want to show up with the cops to intimidate them. No way, because here comes our guys to intimidate them. Say, you're not taking this kid unless it is absolutely 100% legal, ethical, moral, all of this stuff. So if anybody wants to help us out with creating this group, get in touch with Miss G or me, and we're gonna start doing that because
Yeah,
enough.
for LA, yeah. If anybody in LA and they have a bikers group, I also have my friends.
Yeah.
I have
So
like
let's
I
get this
think
going.
25 of them or 30. I don't know how many they are, but
Mhm.
I know one main guy. He's my
Mhm.
best friend. So basically, let's get together and every state maybe, but finding an attorney to do that is going to be a very, very challenging part. The reason for that, because attorneys have cases they have to fight. They
Mhm.
can't be on ground doing this
Well, they could even be a
24/7.
paralegal, just someone that knows the law and make sure that everything is right, and we can back it up by them. You know what I'm saying? Like just someone that represents
You
and
need you
knows.
need a retired officer,
Yep, even that too.
not a
Absolutely. Yeah.
paralegal. A paralegal, no. You need a retired officer or a retired sheriff or a retired state
Someone that knows the law, right? Yeah.
correct. And that's someone you need. Basically, you need somebody to say, "Hey, do you have a court order? You have no chance taking that child."
Mm-hmm.
The police cannot even touch that person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so usually the state police are the ones who are untouchable. Believe it or not,
Mm-hmm.
the state police are the ones. I think what's the name? They have a name.
The bikers.
No,
Oh,
the state police. They're the ones who go and actually arrest a president. It's
oh, the
not the CIA. It's not the
marshals,
FBI.
marshals,
Marshals, state
Mar-
marshals.
yeah,
Thank you. Same thing as state police. So
yeah.
they're the ones who has control over all the departments.
Mm,
They have authority even to arrest a president.
wow.
It's not the CIA or the FBI.
Right.
So the
No, I knew the
marshals are
marshals.
the
Yeah.
ones. If you can find a marshal
Yeah.
that
Yep.
a retired marshal, because he or she still
Yeah.
has
Mm-hmm.
that credential, meaning you can be retired, but you're going to be a marshal no
Yeah,
matter
you're
what.
marshal for life, right?
Correct.
Well,
For
Miss G,
life.
we started it right now. We're going to start this thing. We're going to build this organization because we need to do something while we're trying to break this thing down and make it get rid of it. We got to do something to protect the families that are getting slain by this day by day. This is getting to be too much. Now I'll be
I
damned
think
if I'm going to let any
there's
more.
bikers who care about
Yep.
children and they actually defend children. But there's bikers who actually, I learned that the hard way, by the way. I used to think all bikers are cool because my friend, but he taught me a lot. He said to me, it's not true because there's bikers who actually kill people
Mm-hmm.
and kill children. They don't care if you're a parent or not. So there's violent bikers and there's peace bikers. The peaceful bikers are the ones who actually have more balls than the killer bikers.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're stronger because
You
they
don't
have
have to be a mean person to be a
priorities together.
right.
They
Right.
have their priorities together. So basically, those are the ones you want to interact with. I met my friend years ago when I was getting my tire replaced. He has tattoos everywhere. He's wearing this leather jacket. He looked so like everybody else kind of stayed away from sitting next to him. And
Mm-hmm.
I was the only one that sat next to him. And I was like, oh my God, I like your tattoo. Oh my God, where did you get this? And I was talking to him. And then he said to me, he goes, you like to talk, don't you? And he was like that kind of guy. He was like, cool, right?
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, well, I love the tattoos, man. I don't know what to tell you. I love it. I just enjoy looking at them. And then he
You
goes,
should get one.
what's your name? And I told him, and we started talking. And he was talking to me back and forth. And then he said, you're cool people. That's how it started. And I told him, are you sure? I'm cool people because I'm from Egypt. I don't know if you're scared of the Egyptians or
Right.
not. He
Right.
goes, no, my
Right.
boy is Egyptian, and he said, oh my gosh, he made me baklava and grape leaves and malupita. And he started naming all these dishes to me. He's like, oh my God, like you're welcome to the family. Then on my birthday, he took me for a ride. All 23 bikers behind him.
Oh wow.
And he took me for a ride behind his bike, and they were serenading me with balloons, holding balloons
Yeah,
and flowers.
cool.
And that was my first outing with them, and it began a friendship and family life after that. So basically,
Good
they're
for you.
family, not friends anymore. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I met him. So oftentimes we look at people, we think they're a threat to us because they have tattoos, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, he became the most loving, the most human fighter there is for
Mm-hmm.
mankind, for the rights of people and rights of children. So that's the one. So God told me not to look at the outside appearance, but look at the inward. Look at his heart. Find out who he is. While other people sat away from him because of his appearance. So oftentimes you don't know who you're entertaining, but open your heart and you will see if this person is worth knowing or not. And he's definitely worth knowing. So that's the kind of people you want to be around. Okay. So tattoos, don't let it scare you. Actually, he doesn't scare me anymore. He actually scares me when he stares. That's a scare. But he doesn't scare me like that anymore. That's okay. That stare is not normal. That's not the stare I'm talking about. That's that's not a stare, Darren. That looks like you haven't slept for 200 years, okay? And you're trying to stay up. Exactly.
That's funny. Oh man. So yeah, if you guys want to get involved in this, get in touch with Miss G or get in touch with me at info@abolisccps is me. That's you, Miss G, Mrs. Sleeping. You know what? You know what I want to
Wait,
do?
look
Now
what
that
Grace
you
did.
say-
Wait, be
what
quiet.
is
Look,
Grace doing?
look at the private chat.
Oh gosh, what is she saying? Grace,
Oh my God, Grace.
hit the music. We're out of here. That must have taken her the 15 minutes we're over time.
Wait, she's shouting. Look at the last message at 8:15. Look, she's shouting now. Look, she's yelling
Yeah,
now.
over time with the exclamations going all the way down. That's funny as heck, Grace.
All right, I guess we're gonna have to cut the show.
That's it. Show's over. Grace, play the music. Right, MSG. We got along for an hour and 15 minutes. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my